Happy Friday. The weekend is here. Yay! We're changing our time. Boo. I hate time change. 75% of the people hate it. And yet, here we are, going to change the time this weekend. I'm not bitter. Today, we're going to finish up what we're going to talk about in Chronicles. There is much more. I want you to know there is much more across the board than what I am talking about with you. But we can't do it all. And so today we're going to talk about the tabernacle, the temple, and Jesus. And then we're going to go into Ezra starting next week. And Sunday we will have our meditation as we do our candles. So the tabernacle, Moses built in the desert. It was portable. They took it with them. It was beautiful. It was intricate. It had everything that God wanted it to have. And the Ark of the Covenant was the holiest of holy place. And it was where they were able to meet with God. Then we had many years later, Solomon was able to build the temple. David wanted to build the temple, but David was a king, a warrior king. And of course, that's what they expected Jesus to be, because David was such a warrior king. But God didn't want hands that killed to build the temple, the holy place where he would dwell with the people of Israel. So he promised David that while he would not be able to build the temple, his son would become king and he would build the temple instead. And that's how it happened. Solomon did that. So we have this temple that's beautiful and wonderful and amazing. Solomon started his reign by asking for wisdom. He could have asked for anything, and he asked for wisdom, and God blessed that by also giving him an amazing amount of wealth. That may have been to his detriment a little bit later in life, but he was very wise, and he did some amazing things, and his wisdom is compared to Jesus' wisdom as well. So the temple is the place. That's where they go to dwell. That's where they go to see God. That's where they go with their prayers. That's where they go for everything, their sacrifices, their offerings. It's all done at the temple. And that is a reverent, holy place to the people of Israel at this time. So they have this temple that they're visiting and doing all the things. And it's still just a dwelling. It's not magical. It's a dwelling. And 150 years after it was built, we learn in 2 Kings 12, it needed some repairs. So because it was 150 years old, I live in a 120 year old house, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done because it's a dwelling. It's not going to last forever. But something is coming that's better. And that's Jesus. So we had the tabernacle, and there were traces of Jesus all through the tabernacle that continue into the temple because they had the same things. And then we will have Jesus. And Solomon said when they were celebrating that the temple was done in 2 Chronicles 6, 18 and 19, but will God indeed dwell with men on earth? Behold, heaven and the highest heaven can't contain you. How much less this house I built? So he understands there's only so much that this temple can do. And in Matthew 12, 6 through 8, Jesus says, I tell you, something greater than the temple is here. And if you had known what this means, I desire mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless, for the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath, when they were accusing him of not making the Sabbath holy. Jesus is telling the Pharisees that the temple is holy, but there is something greater and even more precious coming that's here. The temple is more permanent than the tabernacle was, but Jesus is more permanent than the temple. Those who believe in Jesus will live forever. They will not face the ultimate death. Because we are not made by human hands, but by the hand of God. When Jesus had defeated death, had victory over death at the cross, and was resurrected, he left us with the Holy Spirit when he went back to heaven. And the Holy Spirit never leaves us. In Ephesians 1:13, it is sealed us for God and his day of redemption with the Holy Spirit. Jesus in John 2:19 identifies himself as the temple, and there will be no temple eventually, but a new Jerusalem. And that's when we will be with our Father in heaven every day. There was a tabernacle that was so important for the Israelites when they were in the desert and wandering, and before they got to their promised land. In the promised land, David is the king, but he cannot be the one to build the temple because his hands are bloody from taking the land around them through war. But his son will do it, Solomon. But through their line, Jesus will come. And we will have a new Jerusalem, and we have the Holy Spirit in us, so that God is available to us whenever we want him. Can you see the threads from the tabernacle to the temple to Jesus to you? Isn't it beautiful? Until next time, have a great weekend.